Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review. And I gotta be honest, today we are tasting a forgotten beer because this is one I think I've already had since like 2021 or 2022. I had a friend bring me this all the way from Brussels. I was looking forward to this so much, and then I put it somewhere in the back of the cellar and completely forgot about it. So I already gave it away, it's from Brussels, so the chances are that this is from the Brussels Beer Project, and it is. This is a limited edition barrel-aged Minotaure, which is in French exactly the same as it means in English. But the Minotaure, the legendary man with a bull's head, I think that is chosen for a reason, I don't know. This is one of the old ones with the wax sealed cap, so always a challenge. Now let me read this label here. Minotaure, because there have been several versions. There was one with 25% 3-year-old beer and 75% 10-month-old beer. This is a different one. This is the Minotaure by Brussels Beer Project Imperial Red Ale Barrel Aged 4 years in Nuit Saint-Georges barrels with an ABV of 8.3%. Minotaure is a deep ruby red ale with a vinous nose and subtle notes of, hold tight, caramel, leather and cherries. Riddle me curious. Complex, old and wiser than we are. 8.3%, contains malted barley and still well before the best before date of March 2026. So, I'm glad I found it now. Yeah, I'll just open this thing up. And of course, as Thomas Hogendam would say, hashtag proper glassware. Now, where is my tire-bouchon? We can't use the other opener for this because we need this little knife here. So, first off, we cut through the wax seal. Oh, and it's a very thick and sturdy one. Okay. Let's see if we can pry this open. Yes, we certainly can. Ooh. So, a red ale barrel aged for 4 years. You guys know that I love my red ales. This is, well, sort of Belgian heritage. Just like many beers, of course, but red ale, I don't think that many other countries or regions or spontaneously made this. I think those that do make it mostly copy it from brands like Rodenbach, for example. Oh, look at that. That is not clear at all. That is murky as fuck. Also, we call it a red ale, but oftentimes it is like this. It is rusty red-brown, but that is completely normal. After barrel aging for 4 years, of course, it takes a lot of notes from the wood as well, in the aroma, in the taste, but also in the color. Yeah, that is really, really murky. Doesn't let anything through. Looks kind of nice. A very thin rim of foam. Of course, a red ale is by definition slightly acidic, sometimes very acidic. And this would probably have a lot of tannins from the wood. If I see caramel, cherries and leather, I think, yeah, tannins and acidity and things like that. So it's even a miracle that this has foam, even though it's just a rim around the edge. Oh wow. Now, Bear in mind that I have been working in chemicals and pharmaceuticals for the past 20 years. So my frame of reference might be different than yours. So when I say I smell certain chemicals, I don't mean this beer has like fake flavor or added chemicals, but that is just my frame of reference. I happen to know some chemicals better than other scents or smells. But in this case, the first thing that hit me was a bit of like petrol and acetone. Things like acetaldehyde and stuff. But that might figure why they say it tastes like leather or smells like leather. Very astringent, very woody, very oaky, and I do mean the wood and maybe even a bit of varnish. So not the vanilla side, but more the wood side itself. Yeah, absolutely beautiful, extremely complex. And very vinous indeed. Oftentimes with beer, when we say vinous, we mean white wine, like a Nelson Sauvin or like a dry white. This is way more into red. Yeah, I could smell this for hours, but let's have a taste. I've been waiting for this for so long. Cheers. Oh wow. That flavor is even more complex than the aroma. First things first, first things first, I meant. Quite thin, a bit watery, nicely carbonated. First flavor immediately acidic, sour, somewhere. I'm gonna say something very controversial. I'll probably get some backlash for this, but somewhere between like lemon and lime and vinegar, and by that I mean I get some of the vinegary notes in the back of the throat, but it's mainly primary flavor, a bit of lemon, and at the end it's more like lime and lime zest, maybe some yellow grapefruit as well. Oh wow. When drawing in a bit of air to mix up that carbon dioxide and that flavor palette, all those volatile components get boosted, and I get, apart from the acidity, a bunch of bitterness, and normally I would attribute this to hoppiness or hops, but this isn't a very well hopped beer, so I am going out on a limb here, take an educated guess that this is way more from the wood. I get a bit of hay as well, so probably used old hops, just like in Gueuze or Lambic production, which Brussels Beer Project is also known to experiment with. Wow, how complex is this? So, 4 years in wine barrels, then 4 years in my cellar. Very complex nose with all kinds of chemicals and nature products. Then the flavor, first we get some lemon, then we get a tiny hint of vinegar, then we go to bitterness, lime zest, grapefruit, but we also immediately got some of those woody notes, and I am thinking like sandalwood incense. or some burning birch. But those are also tones that, compared to that leather that they talk about. I think the only thing that I haven't noticed yet that they talk about is the caramel, but of course after 4 years that will probably have dissipated. Yeah, and while warming up it releases way more of that like turpentine varnish like woody structure. Yeah, this is downright beautiful. I am again very impressed by the Brussels Beer Project. But of course these guys know how to brew, we already knew that. I also like the wordplay here, or wordplay, the Imperial Red Ale, because most red ales are like lagers, like 4% up until 6.5, let's say, some maybe a bit stronger. This is 8.3, so wow, what we call een binnenkomer, what a doozy. I can pour this as rough as I like. This is the absolute maximum amount of foam that I will get. Oh, I do get a tiny hint of caramel now. Probably a combination of that bit of residue that was on the bottom, because this is a champagne bottle. So that bit of a residue combined with the temperature now does release that very faint caramel aroma. Also a very interesting aftertaste. I think that the aftertaste is basically where that minuscule hint of caramel aroma actually comes to life, and it's actively fighting that acidity and that bitterness at the same time. It's mainly the sweet and the bitter that we get in the aftertaste with those woody notes. Very, very well done. I think I am gonna give this probably a 4. I was thinking 3.75 because, and this is a very rare thing for me to say, but because I would have liked this a slight tiny bit sweeter, but on the other hand, no, it's awesome as is, so let's keep it at an even 4. So another 4 for Brussels Beer Project. Darn. Okay, that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me. We are growing in numbers. I never expected this, but it is a very nice feeling. If you want to support this channel, take a look at my Patreon page or share a video. I'll probably open up a mailing list somewhere in the next few days. And if you have any questions, suggestions, remarks, just leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And as usual, if you're in Antwerp and you want to have a drink, let me know. You can contact me right here. Until then, cheers you guys. See you in the next one.